We are here with former Vail Mayor Dave Chapin. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, Mark.
Really appreciate your time. First question, briefly tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I am approaching a senior citizen.
I understand that.
I've been in the town for a long, long time, since the early 80s, full-time 40-some years now. And I was just a really lucky guy when I came to Vail. I was in the right place at the right time. And I am what I like to say to people sometimes. I go, I have a PhD in ski bumming. But along those lines, I've also, I do have a Bachelor of Science degree in hospitality management. I own a business in Vail, a business that's going to celebrate 40 years this fall. That's Vendetta's, for all of you that aren't familiar with it. Very proud of that. And proud to live in the town of Vail, and proud to have had the experience of already serving on the town council and understanding the different needs and the wants of our community. So I don't like to talk too much about myself, so it's
I'll try and bring it out a little bit.
It's an interesting question. So
on a related question to that, it's rare that candidates in the town of Vail election get to address all the voters at once. There's basically this interview here,
right,
and then there's the candidate forum. So here you have the voters watching you. What is your pitch on why they should vote for you?
Well, I think experience matters, Mark. And we're in a very transitional time right now at the town of Vail in a lot of ways. I'm talking about the relationship, number one, with the community. I'm talking about the relationship with the ski company. And on a bigger level, it goes to a relationship with the county, with the state, and then, of course, federally. Now, people would say, well, what do you mean federal? This is all local. Well, you're right, it is. But a lot of things, people's opinions and mantras get swayed by what's going on. And it's really interesting. And Vail's had a lot of changes, and change is good. I want to make that clear to people. Sometimes people say, oh, we need to keep things as they are. We don't need any more growth. Well, I'm not preaching growth. I'm preaching change. And that's what a town is about. You have to evolve. You have to keep up. I think I bring a plethora of experience to the table. I've represented Vail as a mayor on a local level, a county level, a state level, a national level, and even a world level. We've done some sister city exchanges that I was very fortunate to be a part of and be a part of those transactions. So I really think that I can come to the table with an experienced voice. And I think I learned a lot on council about how to listen. Don't jump to a conclusion. Make sure you understand both sides of everybody's stories. That's why I love it when people come into our council chambers and speak to us, because I want to see the emotion. I want to see the passion, why they're for something or why they're against it. I think that's really important, and I think it's really important for council people to see that. Another thing, cut me off, Mark, if I get long-winded.
No, you're doing great.
People say, oh, you must go to Safeway or City Market at 7 in the morning or 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, no. When I go to City Market or Safeway and somebody has something they want to say to me, I'm all about it.
I have stopped you many times in City Market.
But I'm like, bring it, because that may be the only time that person's going to see me. And it's really easy to say, come to the council meeting, send us an email. But it's a lot easier when you see that person wherever you may see them in town, and just pull them aside. And even if it's something that you want to rant about, I'm okay with that. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to learn from it. I may not agree with you. You may not agree with me. But this is a small town, and at the end of the day, we're all in it together. And that's important. And the other thing, we need to get back, and I'm not saying we've lost it yet, but guest experience. Our town was built on guest experience, hospitality, and all the intangibles that come with that. That's why people first came to Vail. And I really think we can't forget that. I think that's going to become even more important going forward in the world today of travel and tourism.
So a procedural question.
Sure.
And you served 8 years on the council.
Yes.
And now you're running again.
Yes.
Before you ran the first time, what did you anticipate would be how many hours per week would you budget? And then what was your experience on how many hours per week it took?
Well, some weeks are different than others because at different times throughout the years, there's different issues, there's different topics. To put a number on it is a little difficult for me. I think you have to have the ability to commit at least 20 hours a week to it. I know that sounds like a lot, but what a lot of people don't realize is you're also on subcommittees and committees through other boards throughout the town and throughout the county. So there are times that you're putting in, and let's not forget that, hey, can we have breakfast? Breakfast is an hour and a half, 2 hour event.
Right.
Hey, can we go have a cocktail?
And just like when I would stop you in City Market.
Yeah.
That's council time.
That's council time. So I really hate to put a number on it. I have had weeks, certainly when I was mayor, that were full-time. No question about it. But you relish it, and it's one of those things. Have you ever heard people say, oh, I like it when we're busy because the day goes so fast? And it's kind of like that. Like all of a sudden it's the end of the day and you're like, wow, I just did 4 hours of council stuff, And a lot of times I do, all the council people, mayors, everybody, you're doing a lot of behind the scenes research on your own. Maybe not even necessarily what's in your council packet, which is all the information that you need to read, which goes without saying. But sometimes you have to go deeper and do research on a topic it's in our packet, but maybe there's some more detail that you want to get personally for yourself. So it's a commitment. It's a time commitment. I have the time. I am slowly but surely walking away from our business, and I do have the time, and I relish the time. I think it keeps you intellectually sharp, and I don't take the position lightly. I would be horrified if somebody came up to me and asked me a question, and maybe if I didn't know the answer, I couldn't give them away how I'm going to get to the answer. So really preparation is key. Everybody prepares different. I'm kind of a geek when it comes to reading. I probably read more than I should on some stuff. We'll get to a topic at council, we'll spend 5 minutes talking on it, and I just spent 2 hours researching it. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? But hard to put a number on that, but I think the commitment, it changes week to week.
So obviously you have been politically active when you were on council. What did you do? Were you politically active, and what did you do, if the answer is yes, before you ran for council? And then have you done anything, have you been politically active in town, even going to engagevail.com, something like that, in the last 2 years in between your last council, when you were on council, and this campaign?
Yeah, great question. Politically active, we're a home rule community. We don't declare parties.
No, and I'm talking Vail politics.
Yes, exactly. I'm a registered independent. But I was always on boards. That's what got me started in this. I was on the liquor board. I was on the restaurant board. I was in committee for special events. Mark,
we were on that together.
Yeah, we were on that together. So that piqued my interest, and I've always been in it to that level. When I got off of council, I still got all the agendas, still read everything, but I was very hesitant to go to a meeting. I think I went to maybe 2 meetings, and because I didn't want to step on anybody else's toes, and I didn't want to be that person. That wasn't my position anymore, and I kind of needed a little refresh. I think getting away from it for a little bit was good for me. I didn't get politically involved in anything after council necessarily, because I always knew in the back of my mind that I might do this again. So I kind of
here you are.
Yeah, here I am, and I wanted to come in with a reboot, so to say.
When did you move to Vail?
Full time about 41, 42 years ago.
What year was it?
It was like 82, 81.
What neighborhood did you live in then?
I've never lived anywhere but West Vail and East Vail the whole time I've been in Vail. I lived in East Vail for 6.5 years, and the rest of the time I've been in, 1 year out at the golf course, and the rest of the time I've been in Matterhorn or Intermountain. I've lived in Intermountain since 1989, 90.
Do you own any investment properties within Vail?
I do not, no, I just have my house. That was enough of a reach, People talk about that, how hard it is to get in the market. It wasn't any easier back then, folks, let me tell you. So, but very fortunate. I count my blessings every day I think as most of us do, to be able to live and stay in Vail. And there's sacrifices that come with that, as we all know.
So this one's a little bit more issue-oriented. What was the last Vail issue, or any Vail issue actually, that gets your blood boiling, and what are you doing about it?
You know, nothing gets my blood boiling, Mark. I know that's a cliche statement. I go to sleep every night. Even when we had some very contentious hearings at the town of Vail, I think maybe one night it bothered me a little bit, but you know, one of our great leaders, ex-leaders, told me, we're not doing brain surgery here. Nobody's going to die. So, you know, it's kind of just relax. And I think if you have that attitude, you're able to absorb information better. You're able to absorb the issues better. You know, what gets my blood boiling? What gets my blood boiling is a little bit when somebody comes in, they're very myopic on just their little thing in their neighborhood. We need to concentrate on the greater good for all of Vail. What's the highest and best use for things? You know, when people come in and they're hammering about boom, 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 this, and it's been clear that there's not much we can do about it, and they keep going with it, that gets my, you know, that kind of bothers me a little bit. But to say what gets my blood boiling, I really don't get to that level.
Okay, so what do you do to remain calm? What do you do for fun when you're not working vendettas or council or boards? What do you like to do?
Ski, get outside and hike, read. You know, I find a lot of enjoyment. I went for a hike yesterday in Intermountain just up behind my house, and I can find so much in a 25-yard square patch of leaves, flowers, and you know, it's amazing to me. I'm taking pictures with my camera. I'm like, Dave, you're taking a picture of the ground. But you know, at that moment, I'm really in it, and it just helps me with my overall psyche. I don't do anything in particular to relieve that stress. Years ago, I was able to get some self-help, for lack of a better word, about how to deal with stress, and so I've got some great tools in that regard that I use to this day. But you know, nothing too crazy. I'm a keep it simple, stupid guy at heart. I really am, and I'm just like everybody else out there, man.
Great. You know? So let's take this opportunity, as our 15 minutes are coming to a close, for you to address the voters and tell them why they should support you and ask them for your vote.
Yeah. Well, I hope you do support me, Vail community. You know, I do believe experience matters. I've been in the hot seat. I understand what it takes. I understand the mentality you have to have. I will do the research. I will do the homework. I will be prepared. And it's an honor and a privilege and humbling to represent the Vail community. And it's the greatest job in the world if you're lucky to get it. And it is a job. Let's not kid ourselves. I look at the town of Vail like it's a business, okay? That is my look at it. I think the budget is extremely important, if not the most important thing we do. And I have experience in that realm. And I just think I bring a local flavor, and experience matters. It does. I know, I look at where I was after 6 or 8 years on council and being mayor, and where I was when I started, and just my perspective and how it changed, and how I realized how government works in a municipality like Vail. So, I mean, you know, and I'm an approachable guy. You got something you want to say, come see me. Mark always did whenever he saw me at Safeway. So, that's all. I'll represent this town well. I promise you that.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the service that you've already done for the community, and thank you for stepping up and running again.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it.